What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. And sorry for being late to this, but I did have to work all day. But as we know by now, the Leafs, they made another move. Kyle Dubas has made another monster move. And this is just the Leafs showing that they're going all in. And while Dubas did mention in his press conference that he's kind of done, he didn't necessarily say he was done. So we'll get into that in a second. But if you guys are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. We're still going to be going over stuff until the deadline, and we're going to be going past the deadline, obviously, and discussing as much as we can related to the Leafs news and trades and everything going on like that. So please, I know a ton of you guys watching this aren't subscribed. Liking, subscribing, commenting is absolutely free, and it helps me a lot. So please do so. But Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty were traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs by the Chicago Blackhawks on Monday. McCabe obviously is a defenseman, Lafferty a forward. The Leafs they went to Toronto along with a conditional 5th-round pick in the 2024 NHL draft and a conditional 5th-round pick in the 2025 draft. For forward Joey Anderson, forward prospect Pavel Gogolev, a conditional 1st-round pick in the 2025 draft, and a 2nd-round pick in the 2026 draft. So we're going to look at McCabe and Lafferty, but McCabe has 2 seasons left on a 4-year, $16 million contract he agreed to with the Blackhawks on July 28th, 2021. The Blackhawks are retaining 50% of McCabe's salary as part of the transaction, and I believe Lafferty is just over $1 million, but we'll check that out in Cap Friendly in a second. But this is a monster trade. We were kind of predicting that this was going to be the way they would go. I wasn't sure if they were also going to pick up an additional forward, but like I mentioned in the last video, the Leafs were looking at Barbashev as well in that trade with the Blues. They were trying to acquire him, according to Elliot Friedman, and they ended up not getting him. So it looked like the Leafs were trying to add another forward. McCabe brings that top 4 defenseman, stay-at-home type of guy who can give you a little bit of offense, but he's more there for the physicality and the defensive side of the game, much like a Jake Muzzin type, or, with less physicality, TJ Brody. But this is huge. And then Lafferty, he's quick. He's got a bit of that physical edge, and he's got a little bit more of a scoring touch this year. He's done a little bit better on that end. But, according to Jay Fresh here, he always posts these like cards, I guess, these player cards. McCabe is a very good top 4 defenseman. Like, this guy is going to make the Leafs a lot better. You can see when everything is blue like this, obviously this here, it's more of an offensive category, but he literally is what the Leafs need. He's just another top 4 defenseman. It pushes their depth down. And then when it comes to Lafferty, you see his offensive numbers aren't that great, but when it comes to defense, penalty killing, he's doing quite well. And that's, again, another thing that the Leafs could always use a lot of. It's more of a playoff style type of thing. Now, Frank Cervelli brings up some points here. Now, I'm not saying that all of this is correct or true or anything like that. It's just kind of a, what everybody's kind of thinking type thing. So either Toronto is not planning to activate Matt Murray until the playoffs, which is not true. Kyle Dubas has said he's going to in the next few days, or Toronto is now moving one of Kerfoot, Engvall, Hall before the deadline. There seems to be smoke recently with Kerfoot and the Canucks. So basically what he's saying is that the Leafs are over the cap, and we're going to check that in a second. Matt Murray's going to get activated within the next couple days unless there's like a setback or something, and he's going to be out until the playoffs. But if the Leafs want to be cap compliant, they're going to have to move someone. Somebody's going to have to get traded, and it's got to be somebody with, making a decent amount of money. And again, we'll check that in a second because the Leafs got deeper, and this is what happens when you get like that. You need to make these tough moves. You need to make these decisions. If you can get better, then that's the way to do it. I mean, the Leafs got much better. So as it stands right now, this is kind of realistically what the roster could look like. Now, the blue line, I've got Riley Brody, Giordano, McCabe, Sandin, Liljegren. As you can see, Hall and Timmins for now are the odd men out, but I guarantee you Justin Hall is probably more likely to be in the lineup than a Sandin or a Liljegren. Keefe has shown that time and time again, so I'm not really sure how that's going to work. Now, Joseph Woll is more than likely going to be sent down, obviously, when Murray is activated, but when Murray is then activated, as you can see, the Leafs are over the salary cap by just over $1 million. Now, if you look at what could possibly be moved, you could move a Pierre Engvall with 1 year left, $2.2 million. You could move a Kerfoot at 3.5. You could move, a couple guys. You could move like an Aston Reese and an Engvall, or an Aston Reese and Kerfoot, whatever. But with those guys, or even a David Kampf, which I don't see happening whatsoever. But the Leafs need to get that money out of there. They also could trade Justin Hall. They could trade, Sandin, which I can't see either of those guys going. So it's going to get really difficult for the Leafs when Murray comes back. But this is what they're going to be looking like. And they need to figure this out within the next few days because once they activate Murray, this needs to go. Like, there's no way around it. So this is where things get a little bit interesting. And I'm wondering if Kerfoot is the odd man out, but the Leafs are stressing depth, and they're also, like, Dubas has talked so much about the dressing room and like how great everybody's fitting in, and again, people are going to be like, oh, this doesn't matter. Kerfoot is like really close friends with Marner and Matthews and all these guys. Like, they're always hanging around each other in pictures. They're always together. I'm not sure if trading Kerfoot is the move that Dubas wants to make in terms of the morale of the dressing room. And again, people are going to hate me for saying that, but Kerfoot is a really effective bottom six player. As much as people want to say he's not, he's getting paid too much money right now, for sure, for his role. Don't get me wrong, I agree with that. But he does give you that really good utility depth that every playoff team needs. So is Pierre Engvall the guy that goes? In my opinion, if I had to choose between the two, I would choose Engvall just because he doesn't do as much. He doesn't kill penalties as effectively as Kerfoot. He's not going to give you the same sort of speed and offense. It just makes way more sense to trade him. But if I had a decision to make, I would probably choose Justin Hall overall, because I'd rather see Timmins as the extra defenseman. Like, I really would. If there's going to be two extra guys, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to have Hall and Timmins as extra guys. You're already getting a top four defenseman in McCabe who's making $2 million. That's just taking over Hall's salary. Like, Justin Hall is probably as good as gone after this year. So it doesn't make any sense to me to sit out Sandin or Liljegren when you could just remove Hall from this altogether. But again, then if I'm looking as, thinking devil's advocate here, when you get into the playoffs, you need as many defensemen as you possibly can because you don't want these guys to get burned out. So I don't know. The Leafs have a tough decision. Kyle Dubas has a tough decision, but this is a massive trade. I'm really excited for it. Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty, really, really nice move. I think a lot of people predicted this, but it has to actually happen. You can't just sit here and make predictions all day. It actually has to happen, and it did. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe. Join the squad. Let me know what you guys think down below. Sound off about Sam Lafferty and Jake McCabe. Big move. Hopefully they're playing on Wednesday. And yeah, go Leafs go. Dubas, you did it again. Peace.